Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. I'm Will Schick, and today I am joined by the one, the only, the incorrigible Dallas Kemp. And the reason that Dallas has joined me today is because we have a very special week of Atomic Mass Transmissions Marvel streams for you. We're going to be painting the dynamic duo, the incredible twosome, the fantastic Power Man and Iron Fist, Luke Cage and Danny Rand. And we figured, we could have done them one at a time and just kind of, I did Iron Fist, Dallas did Luke Cage, but that just didn't seem very heroes for hire. We had to do a twosome today, and of course on Thursday we'll be also continuing our twosome painting coverage with these two fantastic characters. The only way to do this pair together is to do them right by doing them together. So let's go ahead and jump in today. My shirt today, it's Black Panther. It's a Black Panther one. I don't actually have a Heroes for Hire shirt. I wish I did, but it's the way it is. So I'm going to get this screen off of me and my cool laundry room that I know everyone loves to see, and instead we're going to go over and get everything fixed on our amazing stars of the show today, Iron Fist and Luke Cage.
Look at them.
Look at them. How you doing today, Dallas?
I'm doing great because we're painting these two.
Yeah.
I've been waiting forever for this.
You have been talking about painting Luke Cage for quite a long time. So, and then I have Danny Rand with his super awesome dragon punch, his Iron Fist. So, oh, you're like going right in. I'm just like turning the miniature around, like appreciating it. You're just like, nah, yeah, I'm in here.
Look, you were talking about the terrific twosome, and I was just like, yeah, the terrific twosome of Iron Fist and Luke Cage, and I was just like, we would not be the terrific twosome. I think most of us, we're the terrible twosome.
The terrible twosome. Yeah, it's true. All right, well, let's just get going here.
Because I'm terrible, and I just started painting.
Oh, you did. You didn't even like say hello or anything. You're just like, I'm doing this. You're right, though.
They're here for the painting.
You've been talking about painting a Luke Cage since really we sculpted Luke Cage, to be honest.
I mean, I painted one Luke Cage.
You did. You painted the studio one, actually. That was one of the few that you used your right of creative directorness and was like, I'm not sending this one out. I'm doing this myself.
Yeah, Brendan wasn't happy about that.
Literally the least fragile of all of them, and that was the one that you kept. It's like, there's no way this guy will break in transit. And you're like, well, that's because I'm not sending him out.
And he's also got flesh of steel.
He does. He's that invulnerable skin,
But ever since that one, I've been like eager to paint another one because I think that this sculpt is just so. I mean, both of these, but like they both have like such cool physiques and presence, and like boy, oh boy, I just love those Luke Cage.
I mean, I remember seeing the initial like renders of the Iron Fist sculpt and just being like, that is an Adonis of a man. Like he is physical perfection given form. Those sick abs, that amazing back. Like, this guy does not miss a single day at the gym. Plunging your fist into the heart of an immortal dragon is clearly good for the physique.
Yeah, that dude is cut. And like Zrek Rational says, I love in addition to holding the figure up the position that Dragon Tail implies, the Rand just had to do a backflip before punching whoever. And I'm like, yeah. Like, that guy's flipping all around and doing kung fu.
We definitely went through a lot of iterations on different poses. There's a lot of questions in the chat about which colors you're using for Luke Cage's skin tone right now.
Currently, I just have like a nice warm brown. Am I a little out of focus? I feel like I'm a little out of focus.
You might be.
There we go.
I'm starting off with a base of Ishtar Pink from Scale for the undertone on my Danny Rand skin, since he's a pretty pale boy in a lot of the comics, so we're just going to kind of play with that. We're just kind of going to block in this layer really quick. With this rando spare hair that's coming off of my brush. It's really annoying. And then I think I'm going to move on to the Dragon.
This is kind of a fun little spoiler showed, actually, now that I think about it.
Is it?
Yeah, what I'm painting and what I'm going to be painting.
Oh, you talking about the mini stravaganza?
Mini extravaganza. Can we talk about that now?
I have no idea. Maybe BK can let us know if we can talk about it or not. I mean, we've been mentioning it's coming. That March is coming. I don't know how much of the secret sauce they want us to give away right now.
Mm.
Maybe all of it. Maybe they don't care. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know what's secret and what's not anymore.
Somebody asked if the dragon tattoo was sculpted or not.
It is. It is sculpted. You can maybe see how it's got inset lines around it, so similar to how Drax's tattoos were done. It's the same idea. So it's got nice, really sharp inset lines, so it's very easy to pick out and do, and of course looks pretty natural when it goes. All right. Oh, Brian says mini stravaganza is cool to talk about. So
Bam,
yeah, this
bam,
is
bam, bam, bam.
this is only the first of the Luke Cages you'll be painting. I guess it's not March yet, but I feel like it's March already. In the next 30 days. How about that?
Somebody's asking about painting denim. So while my skin tone's dry, I'm going to start painting these jeans. And I'm going to try to replicate what I did on the studio one. And the big thing on that was actually using the what I'm going to call bad airbrushing of Dallas.
Where you get
So
the speckles.
yeah, you get the speckles and you do some light glazes. And you use that second brush to kind of really thin like the upper surface and let some of that white shine through, and it gives you that texture that you're kind of looking for.
And you're obviously just using like a nice blue gray, like scale 75's. What is that color that I like? Berry blue is a pretty good denim color. There's another one. That I did
Yeah, that's a
solid
good denim.
Anthracite gray. That's those two colors. If you use them kind of in tandem, work pretty well for a good denim.
Yeah, I got a little mix over here. Got a little bit of grays and blues.
We're just going all purple on this dragon right now.
What? Okay, so do you have any plans for that? Oh, it's purple.
It's purple, but it's not going to be purple. If everything works out, it's not going to be purple in the end. My goal is to make this dragon green.
You should bounce that dragon, like give him a little flick and show people how sturdy that thing is.
I mean, if I flick him really hard, but here I am tapping him on the table and he doesn't jiggle.
Yeah, that's a sturdy dragon.
Yeah, I mean, part of the whole, the design process of having this tail coming around here like he's doing this big old roundhouse backflip thing was to give that extra stability and stuff to this really dynamic high-flying pose and to not have him connected. I love how you get that feeling of weightness is because he's not connected like anywhere down here. So you have this really nice like flying thing going on.
Yeah, and you even though like I can imagine like the tail coming forward kind of like implies like a twist, and if you don't see that twist, like but that tail you need something to add stability sometimes. Like so you bring it around forward. Complex situation making miniatures,
Certainly plenty to think about.
There's a lot to take into consideration.
I mean, I feel like, chat, anybody can break a miniature. It's not hard to do. I just about grabbed something off my desk that I totally can't show on camera and just snapped it because it's a reject. I was going to prove a point really dramatically, but now I can't. So I thought better of it. But yeah, mini stravaganza. What are you excited about for mini stravaganza, Dallas? Give us a little sneak peek into the things you're preparing.
So I have lots of miniatures I'm preparing to do some hobby times and like little tutorials. I mean, of course, my favorite part is, of course, is hanging out with the community and just answering questions when I can and like just painting with people. So hopefully people join in and like get the miniatures painted with us, right? Stuff like that. But I think there's like one thing in particular I'm most excited about,
Mm-hmm.
and that might be something that we're gonna like have like a little.
I mean, there's a lot of like, there's gonna be a lot of spectacular reveals, but
Yeah.
we're gonna have a whole ton of classes and seminars. So, you know, if you want to get more insight onto painting skin tones like Dallas is doing now with Luke Cage, you're gonna be doing a whole class on painting human skin tones. You're gonna do one on painting non-human skin tones. So you're curious about painting aliens or crazy cosmic stuff. Mr. Gavinport is asking what purple color. It's just scale 75 violet that I thinned down and ran over the dragon. We've got all kinds of dev and design seminars. We've got some art stuff that we're going to be doing. So if you want to see how the art gets made for one of your favorite games that we currently do, like Crisis Protocol or some of the other Star Wars stuff, we're going to be doing that. We have a whole bunch of like really awesome stuff going on. So it's going to be a wild 3 days. Um, we're going to be streaming almost nonstop. It feels like looking at the schedule, and
Schedule's pretty packed.
it should be pretty good. I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it'll be a pretty, like you said, like it'll be a
Arctic blue.
spectacular weekend and a lot of fun, and I think people will really enjoy it. We'll go into like really in depth on like things like these skin tones. Like Schick said, we'll have some awesome development stuff, and of course we'll talk about sculpts and art, and all the little sneak fun stuff.
So, if you wanted to do a silver base coat and then do purple over the top, because I think Gavin Port is asking in the chat about that, that's totally something you could do. You'd probably want to use a purple ink, or you could thin down
Yeah.
this violet into a wash, and then that you can layer it over the metallic, and that will give you a translucent. Um, that could work really well over a gold as well as a silver. Like silver is going to give you a really pale desaturated color because it's going to be that white. If you use the gold because of the yellow in it, it's going to play really well with the purples and give you a very different kind of warmer result. So yeah, there's tons of things that you can do in terms of like making semi-metallics or doing colored metallics and stuff. They also make a really great just purple metallic in scale that we use all the time. This Amethyst Alchemy, which already has metallic flake in it. So you can just use that as your base and then wash it over with like purple inks and stuff to make it a little darker and rich in the color. So there's certainly lots of ways to do it. I'm going to be trying to use a little bit of fluorescent colors on this dragon here to get a really nice poppy glow effect. And for the moment, I'm layering down Arctic blue on my Iron Fist pants because I'm going to be doing the Immortal Iron Fist, which is his white and gold. I call it gold lame. It's totally gold lame. His white and gold lame costume. So I'm going to use this Arctic blue as a nice base coat for my white because it's a nice bluish tinged white color that I really like to work with. Used it on Magneto and other ones before, and then we'll just highlight that up with a little bit of white, and we'll call it good. So do a little bit of a different take than classic Iron Fist in his green and yellows, just for funsies.
All right, for jeans, what I've done, get ready, kids. Hold your blue.
He said it.
Took a little hold your blue and mixed it into gray because jeans are very desaturated, right? Especially like if you want that worn jean look. And now I'm going to use that to start putting in the shadows. I'm going to use that second brush to blend it out. And I want to go over the top of the light areas, but I want it to be so stretched thin you kind of lose it. Just the slightest little tinge of color.
Where's my flesh wash?
And if you want to know how to paint the skin, the flesh tones, the classes over the extravaganza will be way more in depth, and I'll go into exactly why I'm putting that red in those shadows. In case you missed that, why was he putting red in those shadows? Like, I'll teach you.
Because he's a madman.
You gotta have the red. You gotta have the warmth.
Do you? Do you? Like, you got to keep it secret. You got to keep it safe.
That's right.
We're keeping nothing secret on the mini extravaganza, though. It's like
Oh,
all will be revealed. All will be revealed.
well, everything that's done enough to show.
That's true. There's a lot of things that probably only exist in like rough ideas in people's minds. And unfortunately,
Right.
we haven't unlocked the Mindscape mode of Twitch streaming yet. That'd be terrifying.
I got that one idea I keep pitching. Never find time on the schedule for.
No, no, no. We can't find rules of reality that allow that idea to become like physical. Old superheroes in green and yellow costumes. I mean, a lot of that just came down to
Printing limitations.
yeah, printing limitations and the colors available, you know? So many monochromatic color tones. It's like Hulk. Why is he green? Wasn't supposed to be. It's just cheaper to print that way. Green
Yeah,
Hulk.
it's fascinating to go back. You can find that information in like why things are designed the way they are. Like a lot of times it's not. It's literally just it was cheaper to do, like Schick said, or is the only color they can make.
It's a lot like sculpting miniatures, honestly. A lot of the times when people are like, "Why'd they do it that way?" It's like, well, because that's how you do it.
Yeah.
There are rules and limitations to every material. You're going to be doing a seminar with our main man Marco and maybe a couple of the other folks on the sculpting team. I don't think we've set the lineup yet about exactly that, though, right? You're going to be going through. You're going to go through
Yeah.
everything and talking about kind of the process and showing off some reasoning behind why certain things were and some of the challenges that we go through when it comes to making this stuff work.
Yeah. Painting, creating miniatures in 3-dimensional and hard plastic is an interesting and unique sort of challenge.
And by
And
interesting, you mean pain in the ass. It's okay. You can say it. We're
it's,
PG-13 here.
it's true. And I don't think a lot of people understand exactly what goes into it. So maybe we'll peel back the curtain a little bit, as much as we possibly can, and like talk about like why you have to do certain things, right? And you know, if Marvel Crisis Protocol was a different material, maybe that same decision wouldn't have to be made. But it's a very unique and very cool process, and I love that. I love that I have the opportunity to learn it more and more every single day. There's always more questions and more things to discover. So hopefully Marco and I can peel back the curtain a little bit and talk about a couple little whys and hows, and maybe even share some fun stories.
There are a lot of stories about different characters and stuff. I mean, we kind of like to get into that stuff when we talk about these final poses and what we went through to figure them out and things like that. Like Iron Fist, we certainly went through a lot of different iterations of like what the body shape had to be, how do you get that sense of motion while still like maintaining the base so that he doesn't super overhang, how do you get the dragon, how do you get that stability that we really wanted, all of that good stuff. And what shade am I using? I am using a little bit of Vallejo Flesh Wash with some Inktense Chestnut. Because I like the ruddiness the chestnut gives it. And I just find the Flesh Wash to be a really quick and easy add here. So
That chestnut is pretty good.
yeah, I like chestnuts. All right, let's see. So we're going to think I'm just gonna dive in and start working on this cool dragon. We're gonna do a little experimenting. I mean, his sick abs make the belly button pop too. You know, sick. Look at that. Look at that rippedness.
I'm
That iron
jealous
fist.
that right now, like you have this like dragon you get to play with and just make whatever color, and I'm like, I got blue jeans.
You got blue jeans, but people love the blue jeans. People love the blue jeans. Currently, for those asking in chat, the Luke Cage and Iron Fist are slated right now for April. So they'll be coming out not next month, but the month following. And that is currently the true for Deadpool and Hydra Bob as well. Some of the global shipping delays that affected a lot of our other products and products kind of around the United States and then the rest of the world have been affecting a lot of the stuff right now. So if you remember when we were doing the initial Deadpool and Hydra Bob streams, we were saying March. Unfortunately, it is now April for everything. So, all right. Everyone's complimenting your blue jeans, Dallas. It's okay. It's okay.
I saw Mr. Gunport say, not all blue jeans are blue, and then I posit, then why are they called blue jeans? No one says red jeans.
No one says red jeans. It's true. Oh, Lord. That's not what we wanted to have happen here. Better.
Nobody ever wrote a song about putting on their periwinkle jeans.
Periwinkle jeans? I mean, they should have. That sounds pretty amazing to me. It doesn't sound quite as exciting, though, for sure. Like, it's just not, it's not the same.
Now I'm like trying to rack my brain with how many songs are about blue jeans, and I'm actually coming up with lots.
It's an iconic piece of clothing wear. I mean, think about it.
I mean, I'm definitely wearing my blue jean bib overalls today because I'm working today.
Are you? Just working it out?
I was working today at the office. There's a lot to do today.
We were. Several of us were in the office today. That's true. It's true. It was quite the day.
I really wish I would have seen the Pagani reaction to playtest where he pushed himself out the door.
I did drive him right out of the room today with excitement. It was impressive. Those days are rare. It was fun. As he
Those are the days I live for.
slowly retreated quickly and powerfully. You know, it's usually the mark of a good test. Good conversation after the test. Drive people out.
If you can make Pagani leave the room or make Josh like hold his chest.
How will Luke Cage work in the game because he literally can't? I mean, Luke Cage gets damaged all the time. He just can't break his skin. You know, that doesn't stop him from having like internal problems. He's got unbreakable skin. Man's not unbreakable himself. And at that point, I mean, how do you do characters like Captain Marvel or Rogue who literally have invulnerability as one of their superpowers? Everyone can get injured. It's just, you know, less injured. Luke Cage was a fun one to design and develop, though. We really wanted to play up kind of that hero for hire angle on him especially, and he offered us the opportunity to kind of do some really interesting things in the 3-point spectrum. There's a big spoiler for you. The 3-threat spectrum. So he kind of unlocks a new role in that slot, I think, based on his powers and abilities and what he brings to the table. I could really like make people go nuts and talk about his basic attack, I suppose.
I'm trying to remember the name of the base attack. I remember a couple of his. I haven't seen him since
his
playtest.
I think the final name on his basic strike attack is called Power Man Punch.
That feels right.
It is currently the only zero cost attack in the entire game that can hand out the stagger condition. So there you go.
He punches so hard.
He punches so hard. So hard. Alright. Green in there, that's looking pretty fun. Let's try. Add a little yellow. Bite.
We had to make sure we had a Sweet Christmas on there too.
Oh, of course. I mean, zero question. Sweet Christmas had to be a thing. Just like, you had to have an Iron Fist attack, which I think is one of the craziest attacks in the game, period. It takes a while to save up for it, but once you do, it is quite devastating. It is impressive. I remember when Josh, the first time he actually pulled it off in a game, and he did a little dance around the table. He was so excited.
Yeah. Power Man Punch! I was saying it too.
Do you?
Power Man Punch! You gotta emphasize the punch!
You do have to emphasize the punch, that's true. It's all about the punch. It's all about the punch. No doubt. No doubt.
Big Bad Danny says, loving the purple dragon.
Purple! I'm actually dry brushing right now with some fluorescent green mixed with some Haiki yellow. Because green and purple play so well together, so we're gonna kind of make this a little wild color shifting, maybe dragon a little bit. I just wanted to try this color combination for something a little more stylized, a little more artsy. Trying to level up that artsiness,
Sometimes you gotta.
Sometimes you gotta. Sometimes it's just fun. There are no wrong answers here, so let's just go crazy. Plus I have this old brush that's really nice and ruined, so it's ready to be a dry brush for the rest of its life. We promoted a couple other,
Vecna Martian says, once we get the vaccine, will we paint together in real life?
I don't know. I don't know if I can ever paint next to another human being again. I'm out of practice with it. I fear for the time when I reach for the same, when I dip my paintbrush in their paint water at the same time, and we have that awkward moment.
Like Lady and the Tramp.
Like Lady and the Tramp, yes. To be honest, though, it's more likely I dip my brush in their coffee cup, which I do to my coffee cup all the time.
There's people in the office today, and I loved it. It was so fun seeing people.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience for sure. For sure. Everyone's still very 6 feet apart, masked up,
Yeah.
But it's definitely coming out of something weird, We're all in our hazmat suits. But it's fun. It's fun to get those natural conversations again and listen to people shrieking about X, Y, or Z things. This is just going to be my entire hour. It's just going to be dry brushing this dragon.
I support this choice.
I love dry brushing. It's so fun.
I've just added some black, and I'm painting in the seams, And like the little line around the cuff of his jeans, he's got like a little cuff. His pants is rolled up a bit, maybe. You gotta stay. Keep the bottoms of your pants out of the water, kids.
That doesn't sound very fun.
Or don't, whatever. Ain't you, Dad?
I'll put my pants in whatever I want. Nobody's stopping that. Nobody.
A bird in the hand is worth putting your pants on one pants leg at a time, like everybody else.
I'm not even sure what just happened there, but I'll support it. I'll support it.
I can't remember. It's called something when you mix two. What are those called?
A portmanteau?
No, that's when you backwards the word forwarded. When you take like two of those quirky life lessons-y quotes and smash them together, they're hilarious. I'm sure Mr. Davenport will get in here. Tell me what I'm thinking about.
Mr. Davenport is a wise man. He knows a great many things. Alright, let's go. Let's go to the tape. I think we're going to go to white next and just...
Boop, 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 boop.
Alright, we're getting that electric green feel here. It's looking pretty good. Pretty excited. That's
Oh, it's a metaphor? We mix your metaphors? Oh, I love it.
An alphor.
Malaphor.
Malaphor.
You mix your metaphors? Oh, it's so funny. I forgot his belt loops. I'm in deep trouble.
Yeah, I mean, for those kind of talking about the Iron Fist sculpt and seeing it in like 3 dimensions and stuff, one of the things you always have to remember, and this is the forever challenge of miniatures design, is that photos flatten everything out. You know, like
Yeah.
photographs can't actually take pictures that capture the 3 dimensions. So certain proportions get flattened out. Certain body parts can get pushed and moved in ways that they don't actually look. And this is kind of like the biggest challenge when it comes to viewing sculpts in CAD programs or 3D sculpting programs. It's the same thing. You can sculpt in 3 dimensions on a computer, but you can't actually see what you've sculpted in 3 dimensions. So one of the things, if you come to the mini extravaganza and hang out at the sculpting panel, you're going to hear a lot of talk about how the only way to really know what you've made is to go in and actually print the thing on a printer so you can see it in 3 dimensions. And there are a lot of times where you're like, this looks totally badass in digital, and then you print it out and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened to this poor person? Were they hit by a truck? And it's because of how those angles and those 3 dimensions get flattened out for the screen, for your view. And it makes it a really fine and tricky art.
That's why we put up those sweet 360s.
It's true, the 360s do help. They let you see all the different angles. They're still all flat 2-dimensional pictures, but they definitely can make a big difference. They do help, yeah. But it's always like one of those things. I used to do that all the time before I really got into the industry and stuff. I'd be like, man, these pictures look terrible. And then I'd go to a con or something and see them in reality, and I'd be like, these look really good. What happened? And I never understood until I really started to learn that process and stuff, like what was going on and why it worked. And it's a wild ride.
Never judge a book worth 1,000 words.
There you go. We're just really all into Malifaux today. Is that the Dallas Kemp experience we're getting?
That's what's happening.
Malifaux all the way. All right, this is coming together. So to kind of walk people through what I've been doing on the dragon, if you're curious, I started with that violet like wash over the dragon just to get a nice like deep shadow tone because we want this really like mystic purple green magic thing. Then I dry brushed a mixture of Errati green from Scale and fluoro green. And my fluoro green is really just my consistent. So I started with that, and then I've been building up with high key yellow and fluoro green, and then I'm going through and I'm using white sands to re-dry brush up the raised edges, and then I'm going back in with more fluoro green and less high key yellow. The thing with the fluoros is that they need something, a little bit of an undertone from a regular paint range, because they don't like to grip very well. So one of the things I learned from watching people who are way smarter than me on how to use these cool paints is to always mix in like a little bit of a normal paint with them, just not a lot to change the overall tone because you want to maintain that fluorescent, but just enough so that it gives them a little bit of adhesion and grab and allows you to really play with those colors. And then you can basically do this same process of dry brush white, dry brush fluorescent green over and over and over again until you hit the saturation and the color that you want. And so we could do this for the next like 4 hours if we wanted to just go like really crazy and get it as bright as we could. And if I didn't have meetings after this, I totally would, but
Oh man, I got meetings too.
I know you have the same meetings I do. But this is a really awesome technique to get super cool glows and transitions without actually using an airbrush. And especially because this dragon has all these cool sculpted details in it, you can see how we're getting this really cool magical green dragon effect. And of course, if you want to start adding in a little OSL, you just start dry brushing. Like you can already see that we have a little bit on, just naturally hitting the top. Oh, not when it's out of focus like that. When it's hitting the top of his little band here. So if he was completely done, I could do a little sloppier with the dry brush. And then all of that over dry brushing that happens will just look like OSL from the dragon as well. So it's a really cool technique and really fun to make these kind of like wild, bright, fluorescent glows. And the tutorial I watched on how to do this was done on a piece of terrain, like this brick structure that they wanted to make it look like it was all sinister, ghost towny, glowy nonsense, and it was really cool. And I was like, well, I think I could apply this to my Iron Fist during our Iron Fist Luke Cage week. And so here we are, giving it a try live. Could have gone completely south on me, but I'm really liking it. Feeling really good.
Sometimes you just gotta get in there and try something, right?
That's right. You know, the beautiful thing is that you can always kind of like fix it if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, it's just a little miniature. If you mess it up, you didn't really mess it up. Just put it on the table and paint it. Learn from the mistake and like be like, oh yeah, I didn't do that right. That's cool. How do I do it right next time? And then strive to be better. Gotta look to that future, right?
To the future.
The future. R.D. Jones asked if there's any particular brand of paintbrushes that we find are better. Like, I think it's just whatever works for you. Just whatever works for you. I know people that use only cheap brushes. I know people that use only expensive brushes. So it's all about exploring and seeing what works the best for you, in my opinion. I definitely buy cheap makeup brushes for
For dry brushing.
Oh yeah, man, for dry brushing. Oh,
100%.
so
Yeah.
good.
I just use my retired brushes, honestly.
Yeah.
Just like, well, this brush is no longer good enough to do normal like detail painting with. It's a dry brush now. Or it's a mixing brush, you pull the paint from the pot or the bottle, the well, mix it up, use a different brush to make sure that paint doesn't go in the ferrule and get ruined.
Oh man, that was like the very first thing like learning is just like uh when I first started painting from pots, right? You buy your paint pots and you're outside learning how to paint and you're like dipping your brush in the pot, trying to not get your ferrule in it. And then like you meet somebody and they're like taking an old crappy brush and just shoving it in there and pulling the paint out. And I'm like, why was I not doing this before? Why was I doing it the hard way?
So, Mr. Gavenport, you absolutely could do a thin glaze of purple or a wash of purple if you wanted to reclaim some of the violet into the crevices and stuff. That is 100% an option and a choice that you could make if you wanted to get it a little more shadowy and shading. Um,
Choose your own adventure.
yeah, and it would certainly like you kind of see how down here, because these ridges and this like dragon spine are really steep, that purple's really showing through, whereas over here we have a lot more of the green because it's a smoother surface. So like if I wanted to like reshade down this to make the belly more purple, I could do that with a glaze or a wash and pull it back, and then of course it will still play with that green really nicely because greens and purples really like each other. I think I'm just going to do one. I mean, I could do this all day, but I'm going to do one more layer of white, and I'm going to hit it with one more layer of floral green, and then I think we're going to go back to.
Was that a Captain America reference?
No, it was an unintentional Captain America, which is probably the best kind of Captain America. The unintended Captain America reference. But yeah, those fluoro paints are really fun to play with. They give you such crazy bright results, especially on camera or any kind of light source that picks them up. But you want to really wow somebody with some cool glow effects. Those fluoros just work magic. When you take a picture of them or put them on like a video camera or stuff, they just intensify their brightness because of their makeup. Whatever the pigments are that are in there. They just love to play nice.
So, highlight on the paint. Dun, 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 dun.
Like for instance, let's just do this. I'll grab some violet ink tints. And this violet. So like if I really wanted to go back and maybe deepen some of those shadows up.
Mr. Gavenport is saying my jeans are lacking bedazzled tigers and embroidered roses.
Oh, he's on the cover of Tiger Beat. He's not a reader of Tiger Beat. Okay, Gavin. So here I'm just laying in a really light shade of that purple intense mixed with a little bit of that violet. Just kind of pick back out some of those shadows a little bit more. This underside here. Come back through.
That's a terrible color.
Make some extra contrast going on. Get into the mouth. If you wanted the mouth to be a little darker. If you wanted to hit maybe these ridges here. Let's get a little more contrasty. We could. It just lets those stick out more. You can actually go back and kind of reclaim however you want. And there's a lot of different ways to layer it too. Like if I wanted to maintain the purple way at the bottom and have it be like cooler down here and then more green or warmer as it went up to the top, you just would dry brush accordingly with your blends and you can blend it out. So there's plenty of different ways to tackle that. Go away, dry brush. We don't want you anymore.
Rude. That dry brush, like, with your friend and provided what the.
It provided a great service to me, but now I'm done with it, so I'm moving on with my life. Moving on with my life. Just gonna go back to Arctic Blue, mix in a little bit of that white sands. Start building up our whites. We clearly got some skin tone on, but that's okay.
I need a brown color. Too yellow.
Too yeller.
Yeah, just mix some of the brown skin tone into some bright yellow. But I went a little too bright on yellow. I had to mix more of the brown tones back in.
I see.
I mean, he's got the yellow shirt, right? I mean,
Well,
he don't
yeah.
got it, but
He doesn't have to. If you're going iconic look though, the yellow shirt harkens back to his original Power Man outfit for sure. For sure.
then we're getting yellow shirt or bust from our coworkers.
Oh, don't let him peer pressure you, Dallas. Don't let him peer pressure
I've
you.
never fallen into peer pressure.
We've got a conspiracy theory on chat that the NYC apartment building has been hidden in plain sight the whole time. That would be very sneaky of somebody to do. Very sneaky. That's my comment on that. One would have to be a cunning marketing mastermind to engineer such a feat. We're just simple folk.
We're a simple makers of miniatures here.
That's right.
Red Death MS is about the stability on the Iron Fist, if you want to show that again. Show how stable that Iron Fist is.
That's me like really pushing on it. That's me tapping it on the table. That's me shaking it. What else would you like me to do?
Oh, I think it's stable.
I mean, I'm hitting him with the brush pretty firmly. Now, he was wobbling when I was dry brushing, but that's a pretty firm... I mean, that's a pretty hard dry brush stroke. But like normal strokes, you can see he's not moving at all. I come in with my brush that really doesn't want to play nice with me right now. So he's definitely not nearly as kind of warbly as Storm is. He's obviously got a little bit of wiggle if you push really hard on him.
Just remember, bridges are wobbly.
It's true. That actually makes them more secure and stable. So there's certainly a tolerance level. But yeah, the dragon, because that loops all the way around and this part gets really thick, um, there's a lot of really good stability to him overall. You know, we talk about the things that we learn and the ways we improve, and again, sometimes you gotta have a little bit of experience to know what works and what doesn't. And ideally, everything that you ever do, you constantly just improve upon. It's always our goal, it's our motto. Continual self-improvement all the way. You start out as the best, and you don't stay the best without continuous work. And I mean, really, there's no best, I guess.
There's no best. It's all about pushing and growing and learning, evolving, adapting.
It's just the goal. The goal is to be the very best.
Don't make me sing it.
You can't sing it.
That's true.
I don't have to make you, because you can't. Immortal Iron Fist. I don't think I'm going to get to the golds today because I spent so long on that dragon, but that's okay. We got golds and skin later.
I'm moving along at a pretty good clip. Getting some preliminary shadows on that yellow.
Nice. Oh, yeah, he's looking really sharp. Are we looking forward to making a stable Miss Marvel sculpt? I'm not entirely sure to take that statement.
Neither am I.
I mean, if we're talking new Ms. Marvel, how is she supposed to be stable? Are rubbery people stable, or are they more warbly? I think that's the first question I would have to ask myself.
Hard-hitting questions.
Yeah. More stable or less stable when you're made of like stretchy skin material?
Animal Malvain says, Dallas Will, what's your favorite miniature in the game so far? And I say, that's impossible. That's an impossible question. Like, for me, I love everything because like they're all unique challenges that we all learn and grew from, and so many fun stories behind each one. And
Yeah, I mean,
I also don't pick favorite songs or movies, but
I can tell you some of the ones that I enjoyed, like that are at the top of my mind when I think about the ones that I enjoyed the most for various reasons. I'm very excited for folks to get more of a look at what we did with Scarlet Witch. I think that she was a really awesome progression and evolution of, you know, where we're going and what her skills were. I'm really still, Thanos will always kind of be in my mind, one of the places where we really pushed ourselves to the unknown with even how we approached his character design, his sculpt, his character design, the fact that he came with a brand new game mode, which even though Ultron came out first, the Thanos Ultimate Encounter was the original one that got designed by Will Pagani.
Will Pagani.
Yeah, that's right. When we were talking about it and stuff, so he was just an interesting challenge all around, and I think the sculpt came out amazing for Marco, and obviously it's been really fun to watch as all of the different painters have posted up images of their own Thanos and what they've done with him, and such an iconic character to get to place your kind of little artistic mark on.
Yeah, that was fun because like you're saying, it's like what if we do this with terrain? Like, what can this add? And
Hmm.
like just take those risks and develop these ideas. And like you're saying, like Scarlet Witch, I think is great, right? If you look very closely, you can see a lot of information hidden in plain sight. Talking about stuff hidden in plain sight, like from Hela to Storm
I
to
mean,
Iron
from
Fist to Scarlet Witch, like
from Hela to Enchantress to Storm
yeah,
to Scarlet Witch,
Angela.
like so many lessons that get applied and we push. And Doctor Strange will always be one of my favorites as well, simply for the fact that a lot like Thanos, he was the very first like non-combat-y design that I did for a character in the game. Like he was the first kind of true support focused heavy hitter, and so that was a really fun challenge to try to be like, okay, can we do this? What does that look like? Is it compelling? And then of course the risks. I mean, I say risks now, and obviously they were very risky at the time that we took with how we did his sculpt and the fact that we did the magic rings and all of that crazy stuff. Like all of that was, we didn't know if when he came in he was going to stand up, was he going to fall down, or was anything like going to work. You just never know. So there are moments of progression and growth that to me are what make things stick out. And then there are characters that I just really love. Like She-Hulk for me is one of my like top 5 favorite characters of all time. So finally getting to do her and see her released and stuff was just amazing and exciting for me from a fan level. And there's some more that are coming up that I'm really excited about, and I'm really excited to see how people respond to them, because I know that we're hitting some pretty popular and often requested characters, and so it's always a little nerve-wracking to see how people feel we've done justice to the characters or not, and we've pushed ourselves from the sculpting side and the hobby side and everything else. So that's
Sculpting, man. There's some miniatures coming up that are like you haven't seen anything yet.
that's the goal, right? It's always the goal is to, again, you push yourself, and sometimes you learn some hard lessons and you go, that didn't quite work the way we thought it would, but still looks cool, and we're happy to call it part of the MCP family, and then we iterate on it for the future and make it better and more exciting going forward. So all right, well, I do believe that we have 1 minute left.
What?
So it is time. We got through a pretty cool dragon, and we got our skin tones down at least. We need to highlight those up. I'm pretty much done with his white Immortal Iron Fist pants. Need to do the gold lame for his Immortal Iron Fist headband and his boots and his belt, but we're doing pretty good. So well, thank you so much for joining me today, Mr. Doskamp. Your Luke Cage looks amazing.
Look at him.
Look at him. He's gorgeous. He's truly gorgeous.
I'm gonna keep painting while you do outro.
Oh, is that what you're gonna do? Well, then I feel like I can't take the camera off of our minis here as we do the outro. So with that said, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Be sure to tune back in for the Part 2 Heroes for Hire dual live stream on Thursday, as Dallas swaps over and paints his Iron Fist, and I switch over and paint my Luke Cage. We'll see what other options we can come up with for these two fantastic characters. Otherwise, be sure to watch all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff, for more information on Mini Stravaganza coming this March. I believe it's the 18th through the 20th, 19th through the 21st, something like that. I'm sure BK will correct me here really quick in the chat. But of course, watch out for more information on that. We've got lots of good spoiler information coming to what to expect from that event. And of course, we have all of our good and awesome streams where we hang out, we paint, we hobby, and we talk about stuff. So until the next one, y'all take care, have a wonderful time, and we will see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye, y'all. Luke Cage and Iron Fist punching everybody.